Hello, dear friends. Greetings to everybody. It's the new year, 2022, and we start a whole cycle of seminars, the online class of the Secret Doctrine. It is a joint project together with the Virtual Center for Theosophical Studies at YAR. Dear friends, participants of the seminar, the material will be presented during 2 hours. Today we continue the studies of the Secret Doctrine, the first stanza of the 7th Sloka. And in order to open the seminar, to start it, I give the floor to the director of the Virtual Center for Theosophical Studies at YAR, Luke Michael Ironside. Luke, the floor is yours. You are welcome.
Thank you. Welcome everyone to the monthly Secret Doctrine study class at the Virtual Center for Theosophical Studies in cooperation with the Adamant Lodge of the Theosophical Society in Russia. Over the past number of months, we have been working through the first stanza of the Secret Doctrine. We've been going through very carefully, exploring each sloka in a lot of detail. We've been looking at it from a variety of angles in order to arrive at a deeper understanding of the ideas. We've had people joining us from all around the world, from such countries as Russia, the Philippines, Singapore, Moldova, Belarus, Ukraine, Uzbekistan, Canada, the UK, Australia, the USA, Bolivia, Nigeria, India, Japan, Pakistan, Lebanon, Spain, Norway, Mexico, Germany, Estonia, Indonesia, Finland, Spain, Turkey, Greece, the Netherlands, Kazakhstan, Sri Lanka, Brazil, Mexico, Italy, and Colombia. So really from all around the world, which is fantastic. The purpose of this study class is to be globally accessible to any student of Theosophy, regardless of their geographic location. The online videos have received more than 5,500 views, and the classes are available online in both Russian and English to make them more accessible once again. We have up to this point explored the prologue of the Secret Doctrine, as well as the first 6 slokas of the first stanza. In today's class, we will be moving on to Sloka 7. Sloka 7 states that the causes of existence had been done away with. The visible that was and the invisible that is rested in eternal non-being, the one being. So once again, I would like to thank all of the attendees. I would like to thank the course organizers, and I would like to thank the translation team, Olga, Tatiana Kostenko, Sergey Nazitkin, and the technical team, as well as everyone from the Adamant Lodge of the Theosophical Society in Russia. And so with that, I will hand the floor over to Vladimir Yari, the head of the Moscow School of Theosophy, and Eugenia Shabernikova, the project coordinator of the Theosophy Foundation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, dear Luke. And we continue and we start our online class. We wish good luck to all the participants. Greetings to everybody. First of all, I'd like to say it is our first class in the new year. Let us start, as usual, with the thought of the day provided to us by Helena Petrovna in the Pearl of East. The idea is the following. As rain does not break through a well-thatched house, passion will not break through a well-reflecting mind. And here, the thought of the day tells us that, first of all, we should pay attention to our mind discipline. The thought itself suggests this idea. What is the mind discipline? The mind discipline leads us to quality. The quality of what? The quality of life. And the quality of life will require attention and concentration. And today is a very special day of the white tiger, the week of the blue hare, month of white mouse, the year of black tiger, and the century of white dragon. So, of course, it is the era of Aquarius, the constellation of Aquarius. What can be told about the combination of all these secret nidanas and the four truths? Why it is a mystery, why it is a secret. Yelena Petrovna reveals us part of this mystery. And following the Zen stanzas, the first stanza of the seventh sloka, for example, Yelena Petrovna tells the following: the causes of existence had been done away with. The visible that was and invisible that is rested in eternal non-being, the one being. So, in this stanza, it is suggested that it can be understood what is the causality of the existence, which is in the desire of existence, the conscious desire. What this movement, this aspiration towards self-development from atom to the sun, it is suggested that there is the one, the unique nature of being and non-being, which is in itself is a circle with a point in the center. This circle with the point in the center suggests this great symbol, which means the secret, the mystery of existence. Every person, if we are talking about a human being, wishes, desires to know the reason of their existence. Why were we born? Otherwise, we get born, and as soon as we are born, we find ourselves in the conditions of non-being from our being, from our mother's world. We come to a non-being, and our being for them it's non-being. So the aspiration to the conscious existence is presented in every atom till the sun. Everyone aspires to understand the reason of our existence. And these reasons are nidanas. One of these nidanas, which is the one, is called Adi Nidana. And the symbol on the wheel of time of this Nidana is the fire dog. Here it is. The fire dog as Adi Nidana, as a numen of the numens, which are expressed in the 12 nidanas. These 12 nidanas are the reasons of existence. And Adinidana is the reason of this existence, the causality of this existence. And the reasonless reason is a mystery. The mystery of what? The mystery of desire to exist. The desire to exist and aspire to conscious existence. The secret of aspiration, of impulse is there, but we can only know about this mystery only judging by its reflection. In other words, by Nidanas and Maya. Because any reflection is illusion or a limit. A limit for manifested consciousness, the feeling consciousness. And this limits the first stanza of the seventh sloka tells us that we should aspire to the one, the unique way to represent to the one. Our mind is logical, and it always brings us to our limits, to the limits of confines of these mysteries, the borders beyond which the reason starts. We live in the world of consequences, and these consequences logically bring us to the cause where our mind gets lost. For our mind, the impossibility occurs, the impossibility to perceive, to understand the abstract world or the world of non-being. And exactly for this reason, we have esoterical studies. Because when our intellect, our mind achieved these limits and approach to this border, the great teaching of Mahatmas occurs, and our aspiration as human beings to reveal this knowing, this true nature of our existence or its reason. And here, according to these 12 causes of existence, if a man gets into the state of Adinidana or fire dog, which symbolizes the firmness of the spirit, strength, which is manifested as a firmness or stability of our attention, our concentration on the one, of the image of the great one and unique, which man can represent as gods or forces in any form. Yet it is the driving force in the human being which drives us, pushes us towards the revelation of the secret, the mystery of being, or our cognition power, the capacity to understand the abstract philosophical ideas. Now, imagine that this mystery for ourselves, we can imagine it. The century of the white dragon is the symbol of a complete wisdom. This is what this Nidana tells us. Yet in Yelena Petrovna's dictionary, we have a slightly different image for it. These Nidanas are considered through different prism, leading us to this profound I would say, psychological necessity, which means that dragon is the guide, and dragon defines where the consciousness will be engendered, in which gutter of its birth, according to its vibration. The mind, which is able to attract it to one or another form of being, according to the evolutionary process of the mankind and our mind development from atoms to till the sun. This regulator works, and this dragon is called the being in this case. Imagine that this being is wisely structured. The dragon is a philosophical notion. All this knowledge should be gathered together. Then we may understand the wisdom, the symbol of Nidana dragon, and what this wisdom means. When we know that wisdom itself is the capacity of all existing and accepted by the human consciousness knowledge in all the spheres, the capacity to put them together, to interconnect them, and create the unique image of a beautiful, harmonical, and correlated and necessary to our moment reflection of the existence. This idea of humanity, which is able to synthesize this knowledge. Imagine that this dragon may symbolize this wisdom, the future births of every consciousness, and defining its place of birth and its form, its shape, defining the conditions where this mind will exist for their future development. Imagine that this is our century, the century of the white dragon, when the real destination of the human knowledge, the mind, the real aim is to synthesize the knowledge that we acquire during our life. As you know, Jesus Christ would teach us with the wise stories, uh, using these synthetic, symbolical needles, which will find the right spot of the center, which will reveal and open the strengths hidden in us as a capacity to get awareness of the existence of the truth. This how we should all become a very wise humanity. But what is the obstacle, is the burden, the problem, or the darkening of our mind, which doesn't let us reveal this power. And what is this burden, problem, is the anger. It's horrible to be angry. When a sincere person gets angry because of some silly thing, why did the dragon decide that another person is silly or stupid? It's just another way of expressing themselves. Why should we get angry or upset about them? It does not make any sense when we understand that every individuality has their own freedom of expression, which means the uh, freedom of will. When we understand it, the anger disappears. It just starts
давать и излучать этот дракон
to emanate, the dragon starts to emanate the warmth of this future man by understanding, by justifying another person in anything they do. The anger gets dissipated by light and warmth because the light is the manifestation of wisdom, and the warmth is the feeling, the higher feeling of the man, which we feel when we justify another person. We always justify from the point of view of a higher thought, the pure thought, without our selfish or personal attitude to this person. The mindful attitude. The mindful attitude will always let us feel the warmth of our heart. And this dragon, in its wisdom, should reveal in the humanity this capacity which is called cooperation. Because when we emanate, radiate the light, we cooperate with higher forces, and the higher supreme forces multiply love, love in the human heart, and that's how the warmth generates while communicating, cooperating. This is our century, so we will win by light and warmth, our anger. In other words, our stupidity, because anger is the manifestation of selfishness, and selfishness always lives in the illusionary form of disconnection from the rest of humanity. And here, where we see the selfishness, I'm better, I know better, I am righter, all this comes from our ignorance, from our stupidity. Yet the year of the black tiger gives us an opportunity to win over the burden of mindlessness, carelessness, and it can be won by attention and concentration. Imagine this year where we have to live now. Nidana of the tiger tells us about the birth. To be more precise, the tiger can be called a state of engendered consciousness at the birth. It hasn't been born yet, but at the birth, it is in this state, passing from one state to another. You may say that it is entering to the chamber of knowledge. This state of consciousness should we all have as humanity this year. And it only happens consciously or unconsciously. It's very important that the human being, the man, starts to get born in this world, in the world which is represented as the way which will provide us with the opportunity to understand the reason of existence, of being. Because another quality is the black color of the tiger, which tells us about akasha or water, the depths. These depths bring information or the knowledge, and they are very deep, the initial knowledge. That's why this engendering of the knowledge will only be present when the human being will get very attentive, very concentrated. Then the power of carelessness will add to the power of attention, because everything goes from one state to another in this world. Thus, the power of life goes through the forms of existence. In this case, the consciousness, because we are talking about the consciousness only, including the consciousness of atom or the sun. This this is about consciousness, because there is initially the consciousness of the universe, and before it the cosmic consciousness, and the universal consciousness or reflected consciousness is the reflected consciousness of the cosmic one, the causeless cause of the reasons which had been done away with in the non-being of that one being. This is what the tiger gives us. So we have to concentrate our attention. This is the capacity of learning, because this capacity means to catch the opportunities. The year of the white mouse.
This is the month of the white mouse. As a Nidan, it reflects the completed accumulation that we get during the motion of karma, which means the links between the reason and the consequences. This is accumulation that is manifested for every consciousness, even if this consciousness is not manifested. In that case, we can notice this causal link, and we will go from the reason to the consequences, and we went up to the Nedan, to the state of united consciousness. And that is what is written in Stanza. And then we go to the understanding of this sign, which is manifested today in everyone. The month of January is full with the vibration of pain, but who has seen it? We have to overcome this pain with joy. That's how we can win over it. With joy of what? With joy of opportunities. Opportunities to work for the sake of everyone. And this opportunity to work for the sake of everyone can be manifested only by ourselves. This is a harmony which is manifested by light and by warmth, and tiger and white mouse can be reflected here, and they will provide us with opportunities to get new things. This week of rabbit, of hare, shows the following. The knowledge, and the blue color is a symbol of the air. This element actually shows that consciousness, when it gets the meaning of things, it becomes light, it becomes liberty of thinking, it acquires creativity because it knows how to transform an idea into something in this world. It understands how to manifest the prosperity for everyone, because the idea and the shape can be manifested easily, because we have the lightness of creativity manifested through love. Love, because it's the main driver of any form of existence. It's the main driver of the life itself. It's like a connection, like a link. That's because just because of that, we have the color chakra, the wheel of time. This form was created through the golden section, which is adamant for everything which is harmonious in our world. And it shows us resilience and stability in our spirit. Material Christian stands on one leg, that is why it is not stable. And only spiritual Christian gives stability to that. And understanding of the reasons of existence provides us with stability in non-stable world, which is like something unstable, of rises and falls, of pain and joy and other aspects. The day of the white tiger is really important. Today we have a really strong tension because the dadan of white tiger is here, which is symbolized white animal. And it is a symbol of wars. They are here in the Leo constellation. Here, the fourth principle of the white tiger is working. It is about manifestation of the whole sector of fire, of the second fire, or Shambhala, which is manifested through one ray of Sephira. It manifests the will of the gods. According to the study of reason and consequences, everyone among us is trying to be aligned with this principle of Nedan of the white tiger. The tiger also symbolizes courage and power. We can call it the consciousness of desert lion. This consciousness, we must keep it today. We must remember about these vibrations that are present in today and in our class. We have to try very hard with all the concentration and focus that we apply into understanding of the reasons of our being. We have to apply them constantly because it is human who created the reasons, and human have to liberate these reasons as well. And we can liberate them only through understanding of the meaning of things. That's why those enlightened are humans who can apply the knowledge of that the humanity governs. And these are secrets of Nedans and of four truths. They hide these truths, but still we can use them. And that's why four truths are 4 planes of existence. And nedans are reasons and consequences of this world of being. The manifestation of this world are humans. Oh, Maya. And actually, the enlightened are liberated. They are free from impacts because they understood the meaning of things. Actually, that would be it as for my speech. But I would also like to share the following thought with you. Humans actually think about themselves that they can read books of something, the Bible or the Quran or any other book like Vedas, or the Hidden Doctrine or something like that. Humans think that after reading this book, they are someone enlightened and they consider themselves very knowledgeable, but it's misunderstanding. And they also think that they are very demanded by their teachers, and the teachers look for such students, but it's also misunderstanding because students have to look for teachers. It's a cosmic law which applies the understanding of knowledge. And you have accept the hierarchy. Only when you accept the hierarchy, you can develop and perfect yourself. And in that case, you can have in your consciousness not progress and achievements and your way to become a master or arhat. And if you think like that, it would lead to black magic. You have to concentrate and focus on another thought. And the only practice that is acceptable is to create the image of perfection and strive to align with this image. You have to do that constantly. Only this persistence is Raja Yoga and Agni Yoga that allows you to deliver on the divine will in accordance with this image for the sake of everyone. This is the formula of the true studentship. And the black tiger provides us with this opportunity to focus our attention not only on our self-perfection, but on being the part of that hierarchy of your will and divine will. And you have to apply your attention for what reason? To notice the concentration of opportunities, to deliver on that, to implement this image in this life, which means that in every day we can create something good. Why? Because we strive to be like this image of perfection in its action, in its thoughts, and in its deeds. That is why we have to have this image. And without love, it would be meaningless. If you have this thought of becoming arhat, you have no love, you have just this thought. You have pride and love to yourself. It's not very easy. We have to study all the notions very carefully trying really hard to pay attention to all the ideas that our teachers give us, to have a look at every notion from new angle. And that's why you need attention. Try hard this year to immerse yourself into this image and idea, into self-understanding. If you do that, we can get to the reasons and the hidden truths of being. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This year is really interesting. It's just started, it's new year, it's new cycle. Because we have a new year, 2022, it's very mystical and very esoteric and symbolic. We can talk about that for ages. 2022 is the year of blue tiger. It's the new sector of Scorpio. This sector actually determines the creation of spiritual human being. I will just share my thoughts. These waters of Scorpio can accept the human if they are ready. The black tiger is intersected with white tiger. It's really interesting because it's black tiger and the white tiger. They combine and they provide us with new energy. Every Nedan in this year, in this day, can help us to have new discoveries and new opportunities. We want to have a new understanding of the seventh Sloka, and we really want to open these symbols, and we want to usher in new understanding of that and of our secrets. Shloka sounds like music which creates rhymes that are correlated with Nadan, that perceive the whole space. It is concentrated in the day of white tiger, which is under number 24, it's symbolic number. And still the white tiger is a symbol of 6 rays. We have jaguars, number 2 and 4, which gives us the 6th sense of Fohat, which is the beginning and the end. You see, the white tiger and the black tiger are combined today. And we can say that 2022 is the symbol of that. And it's a symbol of star number 6 that has a white triangle and black triangle, like black and white tiger. So that would be the basis of the following. So the causes of existence had been done away with. The visible that was and the invisible that is rested in eternal non-being, the one being. Today, I would like to pay attention to notions, to words, and to understanding of them. When we consider only the key areas of something, we can apply them to human beings, and we give lives to these esoterical and hidden notions. By applying the law of correspondence, we can have this amazing opportunity to give life, to feel some phenomenon or the other that are described in the construction of universe. Between the first and the second sloka, there is a small difference. And in order to understand that, we need to understand this difference, and you can feel it through the state of the first sloka and the second sloka, as well as number 4, 5, number 6, and 7. And when we immerse ourselves to the extent of giving life to this difference, we will discern them perfectly. Today, we are considering sloka number 7, and we can talk about the state number 7, which is the full completeness. 7 is the full completeness. So we are in the first stanza, and the whole state of universe, which has the state before the first appearance of Admantara. But before that, we had 6 slokas, and it was the continuous dissipation of that was manifested earlier. Let's have a look at that. It was matter, then time, then mind, then the causes of suffering and 7 ways to escape of this suffering, then mother, father, and son that merge together again, excluding the possibility of the son to start journey on the wheel. And sloka number 6, it's universe. So it was the state of the universe that dissipated, and the breathing itself stopped. So all 6 slokas became sloka number 7 in order to become that was not.
So all these 6 states are visible, that was before the last 7th state of complete fusion with the essence of the 6th visible that was is the invisible that is. If we take this thought and put it into the main context as one key thought, one key point of this sloka, that the essence of 6 states is the essence of the 7th, then we will understand this merging of the 6th in the 7th. So this is the reason of existence, the causes of existence that are invisible, since the cause is internally hidden and can never be manifested, because only the effects can be manifested. The 7th state, the description of the 7th sloka, is a description of the existing invisible. And today we will try to reveal this invisible and see what can be inside, what can it be consisted of. And we will study different parameters, different aspects, and reveal the key points. So the causes of existence had been done away with because the invisible merged to its essence. What was it? It was non-being, and it became one. So the main is the desire to exist. This is the consequence of Maya Nidana. 6 got disappeared in the 7th. Its desire to exist, which used to be the consequence of Nidana Maya, but Nidanas and Maya disappeared, and consequently the desire to exist disappeared. But what is this desire which occurs at the first stages of construction of the universe? If all the desires are the consequences of Maya, so the primordial cause of desire should exist, which used to be the reason of the occurrence of the existence of the universe. What was this desire? It is the higher desire, the desire of a consciousness, a mindful life, as a reflection of divine thought, and as the atom of the sun, when the divine thought aspires to the single law to make the universe possible and existing. What happens at this moment? It happens that it gets reflected. How the reflection occurs when God, atom, or monada becomes Atman, Manas, and finally Sthula Sharira. This body and this matter, uh, which is made of five elements. What are these five elements? Fire, water, air, earth, and ether. So we know we approach these elements where we can see what happens if we see that God or cause is monada, the guides and atom is the consequence of this cause. The spirit, we see the spirit as a cause, mind as conductor, and body as effect, or Atman as cause, Manas as conductor, and finally Sthula Sharira, or the physical body as effect. Let us consider, if you're talking about Sthula Sharira, what was before the existence of the body. There was a Karana Sharira, the body of causality, which has double meaning. So esoterically is maybe ignorance or something that leads us to evolution, its ego and its development. And Karana Pati, which corresponds to Buddhi and the higher manas or spiritual soul, and Linga Sharira as the astral body, which is basically the uh, double, the ether double. And Skula Sharira, which is basically physical body. The name Sthula is a differentiated matter, and if it is a conditioned matter. If the differentiation occurred, we may talk about the physical body. So, the conditions of existence of the universe are the aspiration of the divine thought into objective existence of the law. You see, when we started to talk about Quran and the body of the causality, Quran Sharira, then we talked about the astral ether double, and then we approached the objective for existence, the law. So the aspiration of the divine thought into objective existence is the condition of the existence of the universe, the reason or the cause, God, Spirit, Atman, of desire or existence is forever hidden. Its first emanations are the perfect abstractions that the mind can imagine. But let us see how six gets created out of the one and consequently the seventh. What is the driving force? If the circle creates a point which expands until a triangle, and we know that point is channel towards the infinite. Then Manada, Manas, and mind, which gives us the triangle, these six states, which we see out of this trinity, we see the sixth state of mind, objective and subjective, or the cube or the symbol of the creation of the universe. The sixth point creates the seventh. What is seven? Is the absolute unconsciousness. Seven is the absolute spiritual power. We cannot imagine anything which would have no cause. This attempt would lead our mind to the limits of it. And indeed, these are the state where the mind should uh, arrive. When we started this chain of causes and effects, this abstraction gets more and more detailed as we approach the existence before it gets manifested as a material universe through the process of turning metaphysics into physics. Analogically, as the vapor or steam may be also water or ice. What is the sense of physics, is the internal processes, invisible states, and finally, physics gives us shape. We may talk about water and its liquid state, or ice and the solid state of water. We limit our idea of the existence by the false idea of existence, and we use specific terms instead of universal ones. What is the specific term at this point? Is the form. We create the form, the shape, instead of approaching the non-form. What is non-form? In this case, non-form is the universal term. The unique being, existence, is the nomen of all nomens, and the initiated, those who have the knowledge enriched through the generations, direct the Dharma eye to the essence of things, where no Maya can influence. And here, the esoterical philosophy acquires a greatest meaning, and as HPB writes, they are hidden. Let us consider what exactly remains hidden or secret when we're talking about nidanas. Their complex means that 12 gives us 3. 4 truths. 3 goes into 4 and gives 7. The secret of 7 is that 7 does not exist. As soon as they occur, it means the complete circle was finished and the next cycle started, the next stage, which became the first. At this moment, it is 7. That's why HPB writes that 7 does not exist. There is always the first one because 7 finishes or completes and the next cycle starts. Just like 7 logo, which are the basics of the basics, the baseline where 7 is present. What are these 7 logoi? Let us consider 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 logoi makes 10. This is the first movement of the ray in space, a symbol of the revelation of spirit. It's very interesting. We see this sequence of numbers and interconnection. We know the symbol of spirit is 9, yet its revelation only happens when it starts the movement, and the movement is 10, the symbol of our mind or spirit revelation. Now we can talk about the sevenfoldness of the ray. How will we find it? If we add 2 plus 8, we have 10, and times 8 means 16, or again 7. It's one into another. It's sevenfoldness of the ray, which basically unites essence and movement or action, which started as the manifestation of the law. The unique cosmic atom, the symbol of this cosmic atom, is the circle with the dot in the center, which means cold when substance thickens and concentrates. It becomes 7 atom or 7 ray star or heat, this dissipation and differentiation. In the process of this movement or respiration, the matter gets created because the matter is the quality of spirit. Logos occurs as the source of heat and warmth, which light and power, which gives us the source. The ray gives power. The thought dawned and the spirit remembered. When you awaken to the light, you gain time. Then Atma goes into Logos and gives us immortality. At this moment, 7 becomes the one or the first. When Atma goes into Logos, when the immortality occurs when in this world a new life at a new stage happens. If Dungamar's eyes see the primordial sun, as HPB tells us, and we can imagine it as a dot, a sun, and around it has 7 spheres. Every sphere is the veil to the sun, or its shadow, which only enlightened may see or initiated can see it. There is a saying, laugh at the one who tells he saw the sun. Only Dangmar eye may see the sun, nobody else. Everybody, according to their state of mind development, may see one or another shadow or sphere of sun. There are 7 shades, 7 veils of the primordial sun, 7 planes of being, 7 levels of consciousness. The one being is a nomen of all nomens, and it is at the baseline of the phenomenon and provides with the reality which they have. But we do not have the cognition power and the feeling necessary to perceive it, to understand it. So to achieve it, we have to go to a different level so that we have this cognition power and these feelings. What do we need for that? What does it take? For this, we need the expression of the one being, this original primordial sun, which is the reason which makes the.
This is the reason that drives the wheel of consciousness. And there is nothing in common with the reason. And this is the one being of personal, and the reason has nothing with the reasons that acts on all the levels, because they are connected with the limited existence. There was never been the first kalpa, and there will never be the last kalpa in eternity. The eternity only exists. This process of shaping continues everywhere up to the end of the era, and the whole life goes from the central sun by waves, and the last sparkle will translate into the initial substance, and it moves through its evolutional journey, and then there will be new possibilities. This is the process of going into pralaya according to the previous manifestation is described by the first sloka of the first stanza up to the 7th state. This continuous entering of pralaya. Absolute is out of time and space. It's beyond time and space. It is in eternity. Parabrahma, as Madame Blavatsky says, is the reason. It's not the driver. It's more like a power which is present in all manifested reasons. And reasons are in time and space. The reasons are started there. We cannot give the definition to them, but we can understand it somehow, because it is the first aspect of Parabrahman. We can give the definition, and in that case, that would means giving the cause to something that has no reason. If we try to define the form of the reason that has no reason, and it disappears, but without trying to shape something like that, and by trying to approach something that isn't shaped, we can feel it. And it's not the form and the shape that is manifested. It is united for every single manifestation. And actually, the reference here is Buddhi. It's the spiritual sea and fire, or the fire of the spirit. It has an absolute white light, which determines this absolutely pure state of consciousness. But its principle is yellow, which becomes yellow on this low layer of fire. And then we have red light. You see, we have three different lights and colors in one: absolute white, pure fire, its principle yellow, and actually karma rupa, red light on the next level. Here we see Fohat, which is kama manas, lower manas, is represented in humanity, being not himself. It is the great shaper, because Fohat shapes. It shapes ideas that that exist in this layer. Here we can see the key idea of the demonstration of this state in this sloka number 7, the formation of idea that exists in spiritual thought. And Fohat can actually capture this logos in this spiritual thought and provide this manifestation. And by its space of consciousness, and by this cosmic state, it can give the united 7, and it is the motion of fire and spirit. Through this, the formation begins through 6 sons of Fohat. Fohat, as we know, is 9. 10 is manifestation, and it has 7 dimensions, but 6 sons, Buddhas, or states of consciousness are 6. They are 6 sons of Fohat according to planes of being. And we can have a look at this concept here. The first sun is electricity. It's the plane of gods. It's the first unmanifested God as electricity or as eternal light. It's the meaning of cosmic electricity. The second creation or second reflection is magnetism, which makes wheel. It's the plane of spirit. If we take the word magnet and have a look at the plane where it is present, it is the plane of spirit. It is determined by triangle within a circle, which is a symbol of monada. This is the great magnet in order to make wheel. It is the second son of Fohat, the second state of Fohat, and the second aspect of Fohat. It is the second aspect of Fohat that shapes everything else, because the second state is magnet. It is like a seed of spirit. It goes through all the planes from one to another. The third son of the third state is sound. It's the cosmic power. 2 pre-images, the state of power or cosmic power. Here, the reason of sound is dominant. On this plane, we have the state of nirvana. And it is there where the divine sound is born. It is born in cosmic power. These 3 sons are combined into something new, into reflection or duality or reflection of 3. We have 4th state of light. It's the path to the distant worlds. Have a look at that. It's you see, eternal light is the first sun. It is manifested on the planes of mind and creativity and goes to the path to the distant worlds in number 4. Here it is shaped because the internal state is manifested through the internal light. It's the 4th dimension through light. When we get this internal understanding of 7, when we understand that, we can find the path to the distant worlds. And this star with 7 rays is the combination of the state of directions. And they are determined by all the planets, Mars, Jupiter, Venus, Saturn, and others. They are manifested in one transition from one state to another. And here we see the 5, the 5th son of Fohat, which is heat or love, which is corresponded to another plane. It is connected by 2, it connects 2 great triangles. It gives love and life. And it can be manifested when the path to the distant worlds is open. It works through the wheel of the great magnet and through the cosmic power. You see how all these steps are connected. Here we go on to the last son of Fohat, through which we form the space. It is the physical plane, and it is clutch or life. These 6 sons of Fohat provides life through eternal light, through will, through sound of cosmic power, through the open path to the distant worlds, love and life. Life appears, and we have the clutch of Kamaruva. You see, the 4 lower principles are aligned with higher desires. That's how the form and desire are manifested. The shape of desire is manifested as follows. Water are called the water of Akasha or space of Akasha. And this is the principle of desire. This is the beginning of manifestation. The desire itself is the reverse side of the form, which means that the form is frozen desire. So what desire do we have to have in order to make its internal motion, in order for it not to be frozen or to be dead? It's the desire of higher order. It becomes spiritualized form or the essence of the form. If we have the essence of the form, which is beyond form, it's in the Akasha, it's the desire of higher order. It's the essence of the form. From the cosmic flow of Akasha, we have all the higher beings, and they are dissolved in the end by increasing the level of vibration. We, in the end, can get away from the plane of Rupa and end up with the universal plane. Here, it's quite amazing. You see, in order to get rid from the form, and in order to find this transition within yourself, in order to find this transition, you have to increase the heat energy of Fohat. How can you do that? You can do that by increasing the speed of following the spiral. The speed should be as fast as possible in order to increase the heat and make fire. By making fire of Fahat, you can achieve the state of magnetism. It appears and it gives light and the path to distant worlds, the state number 4. At that state, we can achieve the more universal form. This rupa dissolves. It goes away from us. Our task as human being is to increase the heat energy of Fahata and the speed of penetration. It can be increased, and by perfecting feelings and mind and psychical energy and desire, by perfecting them, we can increase the speed. If we have no speed, we cannot achieve that. If we have no speed, we have no heat energy of Fahata, and the spirit is not waking up. When it wakes up, it acts very fastly through all the aspects of our consciousness. Such person becomes the master instantly in any sphere of our existence. There are no borders anymore, no secrets, because they have the single idea, perfecting the quality of all the aspects. The master, by perfecting everything, by achieving this magnet through fire, through increasing the heat energy of Fahata, such master becomes creator. They have creative energy. And at that stage, the student, if they are prepared, can accept that, can accept this creative power, and following these laws, starts to create and create new ideas, projects, and thoughts to improve.
And then this heat does not have borders because the love gets born. The sound, as a reason of Akasha, is the state of penetration of everything. HPB tells that it is a great power. The sound may be so powerful to lift the pyramid of chaos. The dead person can get alive. These are the correspondences and the examples she provides us with. They were saint people able to get the dead persons alive. They were the masters of the sound. When the initiated has this power of penetration, he has this power that can provide a person with a momentum healing. When Jesus Christ told to a paraplegic person, get up and walk, and that person would get up and walk. This spirit, this voice, this magnificent vibration lifted that person. At that moment, he would get rid of rupa, of the external form, and he would acquire another form that would carry him forward, and the old one would go dissolved. And it is not a miracle. Basically, Jesus Christ or other initiated did not carry out miracles. They just had knowledge, and they would apply this knowledge in practice by showing to the whole humanity that it is possible. The sound may give birth to other elements like ozone. Ozone, its creation is beyond chemistry, yet it is within our chemistry. Today we started to talk about physics and metaphysics, just like we may consider alchemistry and chemistry. If the formula of ozone is beyond chemistry, yet it is within all chemistry, we may talk about the carriers. What is it made of? It is made of buddhi, akasha, and sun. Three aspects which get into one, and it is the mother of gods. So we may say that ozone is the sun. All suns are Kamarupa of Akasha. That is, subjective forms of desires, both mental and physical. As the pure desire of Buddhi or universal principle of Buddhi gets developed, the initiated or born 2 times supreme lords, what do they do? First, they refine the desire to knowledge with the water or the first lower planes in order to become double born master. You should be born once. In order to be born once, you should drink this uh, satisfy the thirst for knowledge. Then you get the form. After the initiation, they condense their thirst with wine. There is a spiritual knowledge, the spiritual notion of wine, which is the spiritual essence of Buddhi or a higher form of Buddhi. So that spiritual essence or experience should be condensated, should be animated, and go to the higher levels of existence. Thus, they acquire the capacity to touch both planes because they merged them. You know, like in Christianity, sometimes you can see the angel with 2 wings, which spread uh, over the waters, and this angel flies up. The right and left wings are the symbol of touching the higher and the lower planes. So the lords born twice may do it consciously according to their own will because they acquired that shape, that form, the creative form of Buddhi that started to be alive. Like this, they overcame all the limitations of the matter and they became liberated forever. They forever get the sun body of Buddhi. This is the real influence of Manomakari. So when double born lords uh, acquire this freedom, they become Marvanakaya. And then 2 new doors, which are the symbol of the double born lords, masters, they open to the infinite. And this is the transition as it is predefined in the seventh sloka of the first stanza of Dhyan. This state of double born, twice born Lord, this revelation, this opening of these 2 doors, this light of Dangma eye from finite to infinite, which merges and becomes the one. What is the door? It is just the higher level of thought, high level of state of evolution. And the opening of these 2 doors is just the higher level of aspiration, which lets us learn how to use the powers of nature in a bigger extent that we know how to do it today. Which means when we have a supreme higher thought or mental state, we have a possibility to make a transition to a higher level of evolution. And when we have a higher aspiration, potentially in perspective, we have the capacity of opening these doors using these powers of nature or using the psychic energy and being aware of it. The opening of the doors is the symbol with the as a triangle, the eye of Dangmar. What will happen with our lives when it occurs? The aspiration and the labor without interest will help us to make the vibration of the forms of life higher. We will have enough willpower and knowledge in order to elaborate new moral laws, new laws, and new conditions, completely different from those our society lives today. Yet, for the moment, through symbols, we may learn about what is hidden, about what is secret, what is not manifested, because the symbol is an expression of a mental or thinking from on the inner plane. Try to feel it. When we try to feel it internally, it means to reveal the symbol, to recognize or to see in the symbol the three that were merged into the one, gave four, gave seven, and complete this way and revealed the symbol and a different level of understanding. It became open, it became revealed and clear. What helps us to achieve, to approach these inner planes? It gives Fohat, Jiva, and Prana. As a sediment of primary matter, it begins to be animated by us, and consciousness is saturated with fire. This is psychic energy. Let us consider this idea through the planes of being. Fohat is the plane of mind and consciousness, Jiva is the educational plane, and Prana is the physical plane. So, when we saturate with the fire, or by this intensing of the warm vibration of the foreheart here on earth, and otherwise it is not possible, then by this state we start to animate the prana, then go up through the spiral line to jiva and foreheart, and all this is the psychic energy. So, what is the basis of the psychic energy? The basis of the psychic energy is the primary matter and the fire which is in the space. So, two leaves of the door which uh, great Mahatmas can open from, and from the open iron dangma, the light will shed, and no Maya will influence it. The full consciousness of the truth may only be achieved by human being by buddhi. What is buddhi? It's heart, intuition, uh, God, thought, divine mind, which will be possessed by representatives of the sixth race of humanity. This sixth state, or the full consciousness, awareness of the truth, any person may acquire it. Anybody who has this sixth feeling. Let us consider uh, how this idea, how this thought is manifested in Kala Chakra. This state, this state corresponds to the constellation of Taurus. This is the divine mind. This is the reflection of absolute divine light. This sector is the sector of Alma, because Alma is the center of thought. The first sector is Aries, second Taurus, and third Gemini, or red, yellow, blue, or Atma, Buddhi, Manas. And pay attention, Buddhi, or constellation of Taurus, is in this center. It merges the first and the second, first and the third, and gives the sound to this aum. This aum uh, goes through five principles, five nidanas. Black monkey is the sixth principle, the original beauty, or original or primordial person. Black cockerel is the voice of silence or unmanifested logos, or the reason of the sound. The seventh principle. The eighth is the blue dog, or the firmness of divine personality, which is manifested through the thought, which is affirmation of the divine thought. The ninth principle, or the ninth nidana, is the blue boar, the manifestation of this thought or the consciousness. And the 10th nidana, or principle of Kandal chakra, is the red mouse, which is movement of the spirit or the movement of the spiritual karma. The karma of the spirit has started. If we take all these numbers and Nidana 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and sum them up, we will have 40 as a sum. It's very interesting to consider the numbers and the digits of the number 40. Probably nobody can even get compared to this number, even the seventh. It is a manifestation of different religions and philosophical studies and schools. Maybe smaller trajectory of movement of the number. 40 is the completion. This is the number of a full cycle when the new birth occurs. 40 is transition between worlds. 40 days, it takes 40 days for human soul to become free. The pregnancy of a woman continues for 4 weeks. The image of the sun in Inca temples had 40 rays. And ancient pagan temples in different parts of the world had 40 columns. In Egypt, Osiris disappeared for 40 days. That is like all living things. He died, and after 40 days, he was reborn anew. It rained for 40 days and nights during the flood. The Jewish King David ruled for 40 years. Jesus Christ spent 40 years in the desert, and 40 hours he lay in the tomb. Moses led his people through the desert for 40 years. And of the prophet Moses stayed 40 days in Mount Sinai, where he received the temples of the covenant. The quarantine during the plague lasted for 40 days, and for 40 days ships arriving from countries where the plague was raging were not allowed to enter the ports. At the age of 40, Muhammad became a prophet. And in Islam, the number 40 symbolizes death. The Quran is read every 40 days. For 40 days after the death, a human soul is able to return to earth. In Cyrillic, the numerical value of the letter M is the symbol of 40. This thought or think M, which is Mahatma, it's also the symbol of the era of Aquarius. A great number of thought, or the fifth principle in the human, or the main aim or task of the human being. If we consider 40, it's a factorization, we may have 2, 2, 2, and 5. These are the factorizations of the 40, where the symbolism of 3 twos in itself is 6 directions of space, tetragrammaton, and 5 is higher manus, or the symbol of the man crucified in this direction of space. How does he get crucified? By Saturn, by the green eternal energy, which connects these numbers and gives the transition of 40. Of course, 40 in different tales and literature gives different meanings. The number of robbers in the tale of Ali Baba, for example, these are 4 robbers. In the poem by Korney Chukovsky, Robin Bobbin Barabek ate 40 people. And even in Vladimir Vysotsy's song Ballad About Love, the words are, the love came out quickly to the land, and for some time it faded in the air and lasted for a 40 span. The year of the COVID-19 pandemic, 2020, totals 40. So this is how this number is the inner memory of the spirit, understanding, or inner light, and it corresponds to nirvana of the body of causality. The psychic energy, by the way, it also can be called as the organ of the fourth dimension, of the fourth world, because 0 is not it's not number, it's the inner world, inner understanding, inner memory, inner light or psychic energy, which is the refinement of all senses. The concentration of 3 in this form, in this point of 40, is a transition to the inner understanding or inner level, which is a different level, is a new level. And humanity, by the way, always had transition to a new level after terrible events, after pandemics. There is sequences and cause and effects that we cannot change, but we can have this experience, awareness, patience, and carefulness we need it in order to get a transition to a new loop of development and spiral. The experience of humanity shows that even after the darkest night, the sun rises. And this experience was given to us to understand our place, to understand our experience facing this global crisis. We can only live it with a new mind, new understanding, new consciousness. The world will not be the same, but it will be better. So, the state of the number 40 is exactly the hope for transition to inner chamber, inner new understanding, which humanity will be able to do this step, this loop. And it is described in the seventh sloka of the first stanza, a certain state of pralaya where this transition happens to the new level before the first glimpse of Manvantara. This number 40 is the inner understanding which starts to vibrate with this light inside. Of course, it is not manifested yet it has this content of gathering inside into the one of all being, the former being and visual being merged into non-being, the one being. The Dhamma I, as HPB writes about the state of this sloka, is the state of a creative potentiality, the creator in a person, which manifests the inner form of light. As we're talking about the meaning of the number 40, this light is the consciousness. This is the only reality, the individuality which creates all the planes of life going through them. And all the rest is an illusion or reflection of this reality. And when the man becomes creator, he becomes conscious and manifests his individuality when he comes out of the reflection of reality from illusion and approaches the truth or eternal reality on which no Maya has any influence because the light has become a single being or the seventh. This state of light or the seventh state of the inner being of this number 40 of this movement, this is the reason, the cause of existence that disappeared. This is the key element of the state of space when the uh, being and non-being rested in the internal non-being, because the former being is the essence of non-visible. That's why it rested in non-being, which is the one being. This unique state and this space and evolution, which hasn't started to be manifested, has to come. This is the key moment of the seventh sloka of the first stanza, is the state of light which became seventh, or inner existing, the inner essence. It forms or gathers together this state of 40, the transition to the inner world. This is how it gets put together, this content of gathering, if we use the modern words. Any seventh state is the state that does not exist, is the state which gives us the completion. It has become the seventh because it has become the first at the next level, next new cycle. This is how the eternity of evolution gets manifested. That's why there was no first or last kalpa. There has always been the internal inner state of light, which has the seventh state inside of a brilliant white light, which will give the reflection afterwards. Buddhi will become yellow, and then it will reflect and become red in the lower plane. But yet this magnet that we have considered through the planes of spirit, from spirit without forms till the physical shape plane, this magnet is the desire of a higher order. That's why bringing all this to the key idea of the sloka, we may say that today, in this white and black tigers that got together in tetragrammaton, we may reveal this magnet and we'll see something new. And this new is the state of transition, which every one of us may do if we have a refined, thin psychic energy. And this energy gets refined by the state of higher will or desire for warmth, love, life. And all this should be natural. If it happens naturally, but not in a forced way, it will become a natural respiration of our life. Every day we will start our day with the thought, you and me, we are the one. And we will tell it to the sun, saying that the sun is the reflection of this absolute light. It is white, it is yellow, and then it is red. And this refinement of the psychic energy will let us become the one with this sun and shine for everybody without manifesting any uh, dependence on any precise state of mind, because our aim, our desire are of a higher order, to become pure. Thank you very much for your attention.
So that's how we discussed the seventh sloka of the first stanza. We hope that you got new understanding of symbols that are hidden within this sloka. And you know, every sloka has other slokas in it. It contains them and shows them from different angles. And when we consider one certain thought or notion within a sloka, within a thought, all other slokas actually are presented to us from another side, another facet. And today, if we give a little bit of life and energy into our understanding of these unmanifested things in pralaya, they live by their own life, their own eternity, beyond time and space. Now, I would like to give the floor in order to say some conclusive words in the end of our class to the director of our virtual class, to Michael Ironside. Please, the floor is yours.
Well, I'd like to once again thank the course leaders for a very informative and enlightening examination of the seventh sloka of the first stanza of the Secret Doctrine. Again, we examined it from a number of different perspectives to arrive at a deeper understanding of the hidden treasure chest of wisdom, which is contained within what is a very short sloka, but which when delved into, when interpreted, is much greater than it may appear on the surface. And so to again state the sloka, the causes of existence had been done away with, the visible that was and the invisible that is rested in the eternal non-being, the one being. So we find here references again to the causes of existence, these being properly interpreted as the metaphysical centers of force, through which the image of the logoic thought is propelled into objective existence. And so we find a lot of power in the idea that thoughts create things. Thinking is not merely imagining with no consequences on the physical world or on the world of reality. Thinking results in realities which are tangible and important for our daily existence, important for our understanding of our environment. And we see that this applies on the individual level to our individual thoughts, to the idea that we create our realities, we create our existence, and further to the universe itself, looking at the grand scale of cosmogony, which the Secret Doctrine is concerned with in its first volume. The idea that the universe itself, the causes of existence, first had existence within the mind of the Logos. And through this process came about into objectivity. And so while these causes of existences are entirely abstract and metaphysical in the earliest stages of manifestation, the forces become gradually more concrete as they grow closer to the physical planes of being. Therefore, phenomenalizing finally in the material laws of physics. So from metaphysics, we eventually arrive at physics. And finally, in the cyclic tendency of the universe, at the dusk of the Manvantaric day, these causes are withdrawn and all form is reabsorbed into its primordial substance to become nothing once more for a time. So again, we are reminded of the cyclic tendency of the universe, that everything that comes into existence must likewise go out of existence, but not as a finality. It will again come back into existence. There is a cycle of coming into and going out of existence, a cycle of birth and death, a cycle of manifestation and unmanifestation, or Manvantara and Pralaya. So I'd like to once again thank the course organizers, to thank the translators, to thank the technical team who have all made this event possible. We will be continuing next month with the 8th Sloka, and I encourage everyone to reflect on and consider the content of today's class in preparation for next month. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Indeed, it's really important to reflect upon this sloka before studying 8th sloka next month. It is a really good idea to reread again this path, this text, maybe even review online classes that we had, that we posted in order to review all the symbols, all the ideas and notions that we have. You know, we have a really interesting system of all of that, and it is important to reflect upon it. And if you have any questions, you can post it and you can write to us. You know, the email of Michael Ironside, and we will work hard in order to reply to your questions, and we will take them into account for our next class. From our side, we would like to thank our interpreters, Olga Tomchuk and Tatiana Kostenko. Thank you so much. You always work with us, you translate something untranslatable in order for our English-speaking audience to understand the beauty in this music of our research of Stanza. We would like also to express our gratitude to our technical team, Yuri Butin, Maxim Nikurov, Alexander Brezhnev. Thank you so much for being here Thank you, Alexandrovich, for working with our slides and animations. Alexander Kuleshov, thank you so much. It's really helpful. Thank you. Thank you so much. And the most important of all is that this year is the year of focus and attention. So work hard in order to notice your weak sides and do everything possible in order to overcome these disadvantages. Thank you so much. Congratulations with entering the era of Scorpio into new year, where a new spiritual person is born. Those who do some quality work and think in high quality. I would like to add that the 40 is when the crescent is out of circle, which means that the combination of an individual and with the spatial spirit is combined. Non-being becomes being. So see you soon. Goodbye. Next class will be on the 7th of February. Bye. Thank you very much.